John Ulzheimer is known as one of our nation's most recognized credit experts. Having worked for 28 years in the credit industry, John has become one of the most prolific speakers about credit and the go-to authority on answers to credit-related questions. Credit Countdown with John Ulzheimer.
Hello, my name is John Ulzheimer. I am a consumer credit expert. I have almost 30 years of experience in the credit industry. I've spent time at Equifax, which is one of the 3 recognized credit reporting agencies in the United States, and FICO, which is the company behind the FICO credit scoring system. I've got a question here that is maybe one of my most favorite questions, not because I enjoy talking about this particular topic, but what it does is it illustrates that someone is thinking properly when it comes to using credit cards. The question is how do I use credit cards responsibly? I love this question. The fact that you're even asking this question makes me so happy. You have no idea. Credit cards are unfairly vilified by consumer advocates and people who just generally dislike credit. And the reason that they're vilified is because the interest rates or the APRs on credit cards are usually pretty high. Even if you have good credit, they're somewhere in the 16 to 17% range, and retail store credit cards have interest rates that are usually in the 20-something% range. And so they're very expensive if you're carrying balances month over month. And because of that, people can get into a lot of crushing credit card debt and default, and it can destroy their credit, and it's very expensive. So because of that, credit cards get vilified. The thing that they leave out when they're vilifying credit cards is the fact that A, taking out a credit card is a voluntary act. No one forces you to take out a credit card. And B, getting into credit card debt is also voluntary. No one forces you to get into credit card debt. And C, if you pay your balances in full every month, then the interest rate on your credit card is irrelevant because you're not paying interest at all because you don't have a balance being rolled over from month to month. So while people are vilifying credit cards, I love how some people ask this question of how can I use them and use them responsibly? You don't want to carry around cash with you for the rest of your life, and you can't use debit cards to pay for things like business travel and vacations and make major purchases. That's not how those products are supposed to be used. Credit cards are the product for high capacity spending, business travel, personal travel where you've got to spend a lot of money or reserve things on cards like rent-a-cars and hotels where they're putting holds against certain portions of your available credit. And you cannot do that with debit cards, and you certainly can't do that with cash. So you are going to have to use credit cards, and if you use them responsibly, then they're actually a fantastic method of making payments. So number 1, how do you use your credit card responsibly? I put APR up here because I'm going to scratch through it. Do not choose a credit card based on the interest rate or the APR of the card. Don't choose a card just because it has a lower APR or interest rate than some other card. If you're choosing a card because of its interest rate, you've already lost the game. You're choosing a card because of an interest rate means that you're going to carry a balance from month to month, and you're just looking for the least expensive option in order to do that. If that's the case, stop watching and don't open any credit cards ever because you're already putting yourself behind the 8 ball when it comes to the credit card usage. Don't pick a card because of the APR. There are so many other reasons that you're going to choose a card and use a card responsibly. So if you're going to use a card just because it has a low APR, don't, because then you're making a huge mistake. In fact, I don't even know what the APR is on any of my credit cards. You know why? Because I don't carry balances, and so the APR is not relevant to me, and that's the position that you want to be in. So if you're going to use a credit card responsibly, don't tie it to the APR. Number 2, if you are going to use a credit card, only charge what you can pay in full every single month. I say that slowly because I don't want there to be any confusion about what I just said. If you pay your balance in full every single month, then A, you'll never have late payments on your credit report for that particular account. Number 2, you'll never pay interest on it, and then using the card essentially becomes free unless you have a card with an annual fee, which isn't the worst thing in the world because some cards that have annual fees have fantastic rewards programs that are worth way more than whatever your annual fee happens to be. So pay the balance in full every single month. You are clearly using the card responsibly if you do that. Next, balance to limit ratios. This is very important for your credit scores. The higher the balances on your credit reports, or the closer they are to the limits, the fewer points you're going to earn for that particular metric in both FICO's and VantageScore's credit scoring systems. That doesn't mean that you can't use your card a lot and make large purchases, but if you're going to choose to do so, don't do it right before you're going to go out and apply for a mortgage loan or an auto loan, because your credit score can be lower for that following month while you're paying it in full before you've done so. And so you want to make sure that you want to keep those balance to ratio limits pretty low. So a $1,000 balance to a $10,000 limit is only 10%. That's really great. You don't want to max out credit cards right before you're applying for something, because your credit scores are definitely going to be lower. So be aware of the balance to limit ratio, and that is a responsible way of using your card. Skip a payment programs. You're going to get a lot of these offers around the holiday season, Christmas time. Your credit card issuer is going to essentially give you a gift, and that gift is allowing you to skip making a payment for a particular month. I'm going to put a gigantic circle with a slash through it and try to convince you to never take advantage of these programs. Why not? Because A, it's really no different than you not paying in full for that particular month. You're allowing that balance to roll. It's going to accrue interest. You're making purchases on the card at the same time, and then when January or February rolls around, you're going to get a statement that's going to have a really large balance that's going to be harder to pay in full. So forget about skip a payment programs. Make the payment in full every month, even if your credit card issuer gives you the offer or the ability to skip the payment for that particular month. If you can do these things over and over and over again, lather, rinse, repeat, then you're going to have fantastic credit reports. You're going to have fantastic credit scores because you have used credit cards responsibly, and they are going to cost you nothing to use other than maybe an annual fee, and you maybe actually be getting tons of value and rewards for that particular annual fee. So if you have any comments, drop them in the comment section below and I'll do my best to get to them. Thank you for watching. Have a great rest of your day.
For more videos and credit tips from John Ulzheimer, go to www.tradelinesupply.com.